It's working?
We have sound.
So far, so good.
All
let's
right.
shoot for
Well,
20
yeah, all right.
With sound. Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad it's cold outside. We're going to help Daddy sell some more wonderful apparel.
It's almost hot cocoa time,
It is cocoa
and
time.
chicken and dumpling time, and chili time, and cream of mushroom soup time, and yeah.
It's takeout time.
Oh yeah, sure is.
Dave
Sure is.
Davis has got some models on the table
Look
tonight.
at that, Dave Davis is here.
Those are beautiful. Dave, can I touch these?
All of them.
I'm going to buy 2 of these. They're in Walters in stock right now.
Is that coal on the table? Are you bringing me Christmas presents already?
Spring Creek
No.
has probably got them too. All right, who's running camera? Hey, Richard.
Hey. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Is it
really.
time to do a show?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's knock it out.
All right, I can't
Of
wait
the
to see what
park.
Dave talks about tonight because I have no clue.
All right.
Dad's Train Show.
Yay, Sedalia.
Okay, ready, set.
All right.
Richard, give us a countdown and let's have some fun tonight.
Woohoo!
3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. And by GL Robotics, with over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock, your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com.
Further support is provided by K&R Models. We dare to build. Check out their website at knrmodels.net.
Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 212 for October 15th, 2022. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of that wonderful show called What's Neat over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine, and I'm going to do the opening monologue for that show as soon as we're done shooting this podcast tonight, because my deadline is today. Joe, thank you for just allowing me to be tardy once in a while. But in that video, and I watched it last night for the first time in since I in that video is the most amazing build structure that I have probably ever done, and that is Lightner Trestle on the Rio Grande Southern Railroad. I promise you, in HO scale, this is the most accurate model of that bridge that has ever been done. Every single nut and bolt casting where they were on the prototype. I followed many prototype photos out of all the Rio Grande Southern books, volume 1 through 12. I literally spent $2,000 in books in order to be able to build this project for Blackstone Models when they simply wanted a photograph of that famous locomotive. I think it was 455. Don't quote me on that because I've got to watch the video to make sure. But this locomotive was pushing snow across the top of Lightner Trestle. And Blackstone Models, Nancy out there in Durango, wanted this photograph to illustrate how beautiful their models can be. So I built the bridge, we put snow on it, we did everything just right. And in the video, I show you all the steps from start to finish, including building the structure, building the base, building every single board by board on this structure as per the photographs exactly. As of watching the video last night, I was very impressed because I have not built a model in probably a year except for your Sugar Fire restaurant. So, look who we got on the set tonight. Sitting off in my buddy's spot, we've got the wonderful Dave Davis.
Hey, hello.
Dave, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome back. Is right.
That's right.
This is
Can't wait
nice.
to hear what you talk about tonight. On the other side of me, I've got Sugarfire, Joshua Barton,
What's up, everybody?
who has told me that the location 3 miles south of me, where me and Holly and Landon are going to go eat often, will be open probably the last week of November, as long as scheduling and everything else works out so far with regards to the build out on this beautiful restaurant.
I need front doors in order to open, so I'm waiting on those.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Just about an hour ago, the models from krmodels.net, that's Keith Revell, showed up, and I just unboxed them. I haven't tried to run them on the layout yet. I'll do that this week, and I will take them outside and create some photographs of each one. The one on the end here is the GT3. This is a turbine locomotive similar to the turbine that we're all familiar with that Pennsy had, that Lionel Trains made so famous. I didn't say Lionel Strang, I said Lionel Trains. I know, right?
Very
Yeah.
nice.
But the fact is,
I thought-
this locomotive doesn't sound like a steam locomotive. It sounds like a turbine when it's running, and I can't wait to hear that on the layout tonight.
It's super unique looking and boxy. I didn't think it would be just like, I mean, it looks just like it is in the picture, but I didn't think it would be what it is. It is so unique and so cool.
That truly is.
Yeah, the vents on the top, we'll talk about it here in a bit.
It's awesome. Keith has already made this model in various liveries that were make-believe that ran in the UK, and he sold those out, and this model just keeps on selling and selling, so this is the newest run of what we've got here to play with. Also on the table, I'm very impressed with the Shay. As you well know, every single Shay was built to order per the railroads that ordered them, so there's no two that are ever alike. So Keith had to take the combination of various Shays to put them together to create this model, just like Bachman Industries did when they created their Shay in HO scale and in G scale, which I have a multitude of those down here in the basement. But the fact is, this will complement your layout, and the one thing Keith told me is that I make sure they run on my layout just to make sure they run on yours. That's the best quality control I can think of, because if I, as a manufacturer, am not happy with the performance, I'm going to make sure it's right before I bring it to you. And that's exactly what Keith does. So this week, I'm going to create a photograph with mountains, pine trees, and single track narrow gauge trackage, HO scale trackage, to make this Shay appear absolutely prototypically accurate, as you've seen me do in so many photographs previously. And then I'm going to take a scene that I shot. Oh my God, I've shot it 3 times already in its lifetime. The diorama is 14 years old, but it looks very close to what you would see in the UK for scenery. And I'm going to put this GT3 on that, put a couple passenger cars behind it, and create a beautiful image of that. Then we're going to bring them inside and shoot live video of them running on the layout. So on next week's show, you can hear, see, and taste what they're going to be like when you receive them.
And this logging car is very cool. I mean, the rivets, the detail on the actual car itself is amazing. And let me tell you, these logs that he's making and selling, I mean, they are realistic. You can see the flaws in the log and kind of the graspy part where the crane or whatnot grabbed it to throw it onto the train car
No,
itself.
whoever did this does get it.
Yes, very much so. And they're cool that they're all different sizes, so you can stack them differently on
Wow, that's
different
actually-
loads.
Look at the color combination.
That's
on the
what I'm
log cars.
saying. All
it's
that
brown,
detail.
It's black. I mean, I'll shoot B-roll of this, so don't worry about getting close on this, Richard. But this spline car, this log car in itself, is a very beautiful model.
It is.
So, I mean, Keith is really, for this gentleman to have formed this company in 2017 and be to the point where he is now, this is what the show is all about, is sharing new
Absolutely.
products in the industry. And there's a lot of new stuff that we are going to share, including some of these beautiful Bowser locomotives that Dave Davis just
Yeah.
brought tonight.
Well, actually, it's
I'm
not
not-
just Bowser either.
I'm not going to tell you that Walthers has got some of these in stock, because I don't want to say it yet until I order mine. Otherwise, if you don't get them from Walthers, if they're out of stock, that means you can receive them from Spring Creek.
Absolutely.
Mike, Jeff, Dave, and Deb Zucker, they've got all these beautiful models
Here's
in
two.
stock.
Here's 2 from them right there. Spring Creek. These 2.
And those are
You got them from
beautiful.
Spring Crate.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Hats off to them.
Yeah.
Did I like move one of those so the camera could see it clearly, and you moved it back?
Yeah.
You moved it,
Well,
or
it was
he
in
moved
front
it
of that
whenever it
beautiful
was in
shade
front of
right there. I didn't
shade,
want to
so-
hide that thing. Look
I
at
get
that.
So without further ado, Dave Davis, you're in the house tonight. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when you were on the show, you were sharing your scratch-built track. And what do we mean by that? I mean scratch-built ties, where you took wooden ties from a real live railroad tie, cut them into HO scale shapes and sizes. And the video that I'm showing you right now that I shot is absolutely immaculate in that the code rail for microengineering, probably code 55 or code 70 rail that you used on this diorama that you're building, it looked absolutely amazing to see this trackage. It is so different than stock track. It looks beat up. It looks just, I can't say the word, but it looks really bad. I mean, it
Well,
looks
and
bad.
I mean, if you look into it, you know, most rails that go through a lot of, especially towns in Illinois on this side by St. Louis, are not used anymore, but the tracks are still there. So you're riding over them and seeing all this dilapidated and just,
Remember our water company on North Hall Street?
Yes.
Riverview? And they had an F unit that they had, was the next CNW commuter F unit
Right.
that they had. But that track was like code 40. This is not like even 55. That
yeah, it
like
was
code
pretty much
40.
just riding on the
Running-
ground, just keeping in that little area.
Well, and over the years, driving through there and stuff, a lot, the last 20 years, you can see where frost heave has come up on it, where they haven't used it.
Right.
But
right.
that's not really what I'm modeling here. With this deal, the coal that you see here is different grades of coal that were dumped into these gravity chutes. And
Okay.
these are on this module that I'm doing. It's up off of Wisconsin Avenue. And so anyway, my brother went and got me these samples. These things are still in the ground today.
Really?
There's like 9 of them. Well, he went and dug some of that stuff out. He gave me some really good.
And so that's
coal.
actual coal
This
from
is-
the actual place
These-
that you're
yeah,
modeling.
yes.
That is super cool.
That's what really made it fun. And here I'm talking about, you know, these families got the hobby shops, and
Yeah.
you know, with somebody in the family. And here's my
Right.
brother. When we
Very
first moved up
nice.
there in '69, we both would go down there at different times and all this. He was like years older than me. Anyway, so I tell him about what I'm doing here, and he goes, "Well, man, I'll go over there and take a look at it." So he did. He went over
Very
and
cool.
dug this out of one of them, this out of another one, and this out of another one, just to give us an idea that it was just different kinds of coal, different grades of coal for heating and oil.
Sure.
In the 50s.
I didn't even think about that. Different grades of coal.
Now, my aerial photograph shows this siding barely,
Uh-huh.
but you can still see it. You can still see some of these things faintly.
Very cool. I love the concept of you putting something from the real life into your diorama of that.
Well, look, and he's down there looking for this stuff for me, and he stumbles onto this oil platform. It's a concrete base with these oil, you know, concrete, it's, what do you call those, cast iron
Culverts,
pipes.
right?
Okay.
Well, no, these are cast iron pipes coming out of the ground for oil, taking it out of tank cars.
Right.
Oh, very cool.
I didn't even know it was there, but he found it by accident. So, I mean, there's
Wow.
something else. Between Justin up in Wisconsin telling me that these aren't deep enough, which they aren't by about 6 inches, 6 to 7 inches I'm off.
Really?
So no big deal.
Okay.
So I don't have to redo those. But in the pictures my brother sent me, these are a little wider. They're not as thin. They're a
Yeah.
little more wide because there's no tie and all this, so I had to make it more stable on both sides. So
That makes sense.
but the neat thing is now I have this, and I have a whole bag of dust. I got a whole bag of the
That's
real
cool.
stuff. So
Wow.
anyway, the only engine here that would have ever gone through there would have been this one.
Is that an SDL 39?
That's what that is. But it
Nice.
But in Wisconsin Central Paint, it did go through Appleton on this line.
Really?
These may have come from Sault Ste. Marie all the way to Argonne, Wisconsin, south to Chicago. These might have been on that track that I'm modeling.
I know.
These were on the other side of town. And when I was a little kid, these things looked like monsters because I was
I
used to
bet.
seeing something this big. And
Right.
these is huge.
Yeah.
20 years ago, you had 7 Overland model SD 39s. And the fact was, the way they designed that locomotive was it was designed for that weak, dilapidated track that they used on that railroad, whereas the weight of the locomotive was spread out. This is a very short wheelbase locomotive, but they
And
still
a short,
put
very
6
short
axle
tank.
trucks under it.
Yes. They
So it's-
replaced the RS-405s is what they replaced.
Okay.
And the MP15s weren't going to do it. But these little, they all basically took over a narrow gauge line from Cannon Falls in from the Mississippi River over in Minnesota.
Okay.
And they used to run those little SW1s. They'd have like 4 of them. There's a guy like Probst, which I've been watching Mr. Probst, his YouTube operating and stuff, and this guy's got it down pat.
Really?
I'm so glad that he comes to the RPM show.
Yeah.
Because
We
he
need
would-
to get him down here in the studio.
Absolutely.
it would be great, and maybe to get some of the films layout. But anyhow, so getting back to what actually would run on that part, maybe one of these,
Really?
but nothing like this.
Of course.
Yeah, but the track I'm modeling isn't going to be as bad as it normally is for like yards and barely used stuff.
Right.
Okay, this will actually be a little more gradual, but I'm going to have to put into a little hop zone because when they would come across this crossing, it would hop and you could see it
Oh,
hop.
very cool.
Now I won't
right?
I won't be
Yeah.
able to get an Overland Models engine to hop.
Right, of course.
Okay, well, it would be nice to try.
All right, so tell me about the paint scheme on these. One of these is a lighter color yellow and a darker yellow. Describe those for me, each one.
Well, here's the old canary yellow, or what looks like it.
Okay.
And this was the Zito yellow, which kind of looks like it. They're very close. They're all going to be weathered down. But this was part of a safety program instituted towards the end. I mean, like maybe 20 years, 25 years towards the end. They tried to do their own little redecorating stuff. And so this is, well, safety. They did everything but put scare stripes on the front of them, you know. And then that's where they stopped with it. So they painted some. I only thought there was one of these, but there was actually 2, possibly 3 Zito yellow units. They had 30 of them that they got from the Norfolk and Western. And when the guy sold them to them, he goes, "Oh, I'm glad to see those rail busters off our line. At least our section hand guy is."
I bet.
So these trampled the North Woods, but I saw them go through from Green Bay. They go from Green Bay and north. They go from Green Bay to Proviso, Chicago. You know, those are the trains that we saw anyway. But they were still using these. By the time I moved back there in 1982, they were still using those, but I had no clue at that time. You know, I was working changing tires, and I didn't really notice. I didn't notice the railroads much. I noticed SD40-2s, and then I noticed during the early 80s they were buying a lot of Conrail Alcos, C425s, and you know, a lot of the 4-axle stuff. And then later, but I never did know that Sioux Line actually had these. Now I can't confirm that they actually went by the house where I used to live. I can't confirm that went on that piece of track. But somebody at one of these RPM shows is going to, you know,
Bob Rivard.
light me up.
I know, right?
That would be the guy I would ask, but he doesn't know about that.
Huh.
But you know, if you want to know something about Sioux Line, that is the gentleman. Him and Frank Jordan are the 2 guys to talk to.
Our friend Lee at Bowser also created those locomotives, those Alco locomotives in Canadian Pacific, and they were so beautiful. When I was out in Colorado filming 24 layouts with the folks out at Caboose Hobbies out there, I was so blown away by those CP units that as soon as I got back in town, I ordered 3 or 4 of them and ran them on the layout because of the various different paint schemes that CP had on those models. Bowser did those religiously and got them right. Now, as I'm looking around at all the various offerings from Bowser, they've got those in Canadian National. Now, the ones that are available on the market that I'm aware of don't have sound in them, but I don't have to have sound on my layout because when I run trains on my layout down here, I always turn the sound down. Because going previous to a year or so, going back a couple of years, when I'd run trains down here every single day while I was building projects and shooting video, I didn't have to have sound. I didn't need the constant drone of locomotives running around me all day long. It would chase me out of the basement just like it probably chased a lot of the insects out of the basement. Not that sound is bad, because it's not, but when you're listening to it for 12 hours a day working in the shop.
That's very true.
Yeah, if you're going to keep a train running.
Right.
And so on. But
So I'm good with non-sound units on my layout.
Also, remember, we took the Dremel over there and carved the notches out to make it click, 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 click.
We did that.
Yeah.
Now, is that still in place? Because you know what? The Rock Island modeler was talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Remember
it's right
Rock
over
They
there.
are.
Yeah.
Rock
It's the
Island.
one part of the basement where it's noisy when a train goes across a
The-
39 and a half
by the
foot
sink and
sections
stuff.
of rail.
Isn't that neat?
because they are staggered, and when you hear that sound,
Yeah,
it's like
it's so
listening to
cool.
a piece of music that you remember when you were a kid. The sound of a train running towards you on jointed bar has got a rhythm that is absolutely just memorable.
Almost
You know what? I'm
therapeutic.
telling you right now, I listen to a lot of sound effects, but they haven't created that sound effect.
Right.
And that's all natural with metal wheels.
So
Now,
in-
it does look unprototypical because the gap is so wide to be able to do that. But
Very
you know who
true.
Rock Island Modeler is? You ever seen his stuff on YouTube? Well, the guy watches your show quite a bit, and this guy is top notch in it. He used to be in the engineering department, and he goes, you know, what was obnoxious to me before I retired was that noise. Now I'm
Really?
watching What's Neat This Week, and here's Dave Davis talking about notching his rails out.
I'll have to check
So
him
then
out.
what he does, he turns the sound down in his engine just so they can run across it, just so you can hear
that's-
that.
there
you go.
And it
Yeah,
doesn't
see?
matter if it's a toy train. It is loud enough
I
by
bet.
the time you get done hearing it. And you really shouldn't hear the engines much past the train going.
Right.
That's the other thing that really, the sound needs to be turned down on engines, I think. Because you don't want to hear it all
On
the way
some
across
engines,
the room.
some engines you need them to be loud.
Well, maybe for a minute.
I'm going to get a hold of Lee English at Bowser because I'd like to know what new offerings are coming out. And he owes it to himself to have those broadcast here on this show. Speaking of shows, there's a train show coming up November 5th, 2022. This is a show that my father, Ken Bird, helps organize
Really?
in Sedalia, Missouri at the Liberty Park Convention Hall from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can call them and check out tables at 660-668-0899. Dad, thank you for helping you as you do to promote the
Yeah.
hobby, and thanks for being my dad.
Now, will he
For
have his
rock and
book
roll,
for
I'll
sale
put this
there?
on the screen.
Will his book be for sale there?
He does have that wonderful book that
does.
he wrote.
I'd like
A
to
lot of research.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's homegrown too, isn't that, around the Sedalia area and the Bagnell branch and all that?
It is.
About the abandonments? And
From Denny Yelsma this week.
Hi, Denny.
It's coming into jacket season, and I can't wait for you to come back to the house. Me and Holly want to cook for you and spoil you like we do. But he's shown up with some various new logos as he creates new ones every single month. And the first one I'm going to share with you is this Milwaukee Road.
wow,
that?
G38-2
Cool, yeah.
or something there.
Number 350, and this can be also put on a jacket. And there's a Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy locomotive. As I switch glasses so I can see what I'm looking at. This is why I have two pairs. This is the
Hey, let's don't get
484
personal.
Northern locomotive. This is also a beautiful graphic that can be put on a jacket or a shirt or a cap. And the last thing I've got looks like it's a GP9 or a GP7 Ways of the Zephyr, the Burlington route.
Very cool.
But what he wanted us to talk about tonight, and I love doing this part, James Regier always says, the What's Neat This Week show is brought to you by the letter O and P.
P.
I know, right? There's no Patterson Railroad, but there should be.
Hit the button. We should look at that kind of
We
stuff.
need to check this out because we've got it dialed up
Go
right
to
here
S.
on the internet.
Go
Nope.
to S.
Hit record first.
No, I want to bring this up,
Okay.
and now we're going to hit record. Ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1. We have screen capture with
Excellent.
sound, so I can match this up to what it is we talk about.
That's a very cool old Colony Railroad insignia.
This
That
is the letter
neat.
O on his website. I've never heard of the Old Colony Railroad. He's very thorough in his research.
Yes, he is.
Ontario
Omaha.
Northern and Ontario Western and
Ohio Electric Railway Company. Very cool. That's a neat diamond logo.
And as you check out his website, there is the letter P, and I bet the word Pennsylvania is going to be in there.
Penske.
How about this? Pan Am Railroads. How many of you guys remember that?
So
Pan Am Airlines?
I remember the airlines, but I never knew they had a railway system.
They do.
I didn't either, and I had a station spotters deal,
Really, very
and
cool.
I had no idea.
That's some neat logos there.
Athearn made a lot of locomotives in that paint scheme.
Yeah.
They did, and we had them on the layout running, but that's
Pan
pretty
Am,
cool.
Penn Central.
Penn Central.
And look at the different three.
I know, right? It's
Oh,
PC.
wow.
And then we get into the Pennsylvania stuff, and there's a lot of beautiful
The
locomotives that we're going to talk about here.
6446.
For example, the
GG1.
GG1
Yeah,
locomotives.
What an iconic engine.
And lasted, till Conrail.
Yeah.
This
oh,
is
yeah.
all embroideried. It is stitched. It is not printed. And the threads shine, as we always
Oh,
say.
look at that.
The front of the
Oh,
GG1.
No,
gotta-
that's
gotta
really
do
good
it
with
in
the
the
signal
green.
lights on it.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at this one.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's
Look,
beautiful.
that's NS
T1 locomotive
yeah.
right in the front. All the railroads that are the part of the system.
Very cool.
This is the turbine we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like the GT3
Right,
on the lab that
exactly.
Pensy
that's what
experimented
that's
with.
like. Okay.
Yep.
Remember the Lionel locomotive?
Yeah.
Look at all these T1s lined
Wow.
up. Broadway Limited made those T1s, and they were absolutely immaculate models.
Somebody made a centipede too. Was it that?
That's
too?
what that is
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, that's the
So,
centipede.
but did Broadway Limited make a centipede?
Yeah.
I
think
don't know
so.
who did. I know it was available in brass, as I can recall.
Right, but
But
there was a plastic one. I thought
He's
come
so
out.
thorough in his research.
Yeah, look. Wait a minute. Slow
Wow,
down, Bully.
that's so many different.
There was a lot of
Pennsylvania,
stuff
yeah.
just tied to the Pensy.
That's a beautiful locomotive.
But I
Check
mean,
it
that
out.
has
The
so
duplex.
much heritage.
It's a Metro
Wow.
liner.
It's jacket season, guys, and if you check out his website, his Port Authority garments are second to none. There's raincoats, there's mid-range jackets, and there's also heavy jackets, which is what Holly's wearing
Yeah,
tonight on
and
the road.
he's got
She asked
beanies
for a
now.
black jacket with what's neat on it.
He's got all kinds of stuff.
I hear James Regeer is going to order a what's neat jacket.
Nice.
I know, right?
I
don't-
love mine.
I know, right?
Both of them.
Here comes the steam locomotives, and these are not from Broadway Limited. These are the real thing. The Q2s,
The Broadway Limited.
right?
Yeah.
The
Oh, look at that.
Streamline
Wow.
K4.
There you go. I watched a special on
Bachman
that the other
Industries came out with.
Wow.
It's fun to be able to relate these to the models that
I
we
mean,
also
all,
run.
all these different variations too.
Look how good this T1 looks with the green jacket.
Yeah.
As a stitch
Flash
pattern.
Gordon.
Flash
Right?
Gordon is right.
Very
Some Buck
cool.
Rogers.
There's a lot of
Oh,
wonderful
man.
things at yelsmagraphics.com. Just check it out. There's all the railroads from A to Z. If nothing else, it's fun just to rehearse and see what it is that's available out
Yeah.
there. Thank you very much, Denny. We wish you all
Wow.
the best in recovering from your adventure this week with regards to your health. And we've got your back. Everybody's praying for you.
And can't wait for you to get back
We
here.
can't wait to have
Yes.
you back. So I'm going back to turning off screen capture, right?
All right. Sounds good.
So I don't have a huge file.
So that's the version of their turbine.
Yeah.
It is.
It's very cool.
That really is.
I can't wait to run it on the layout.
looks like
Can
there's
we
a
do
good
that
cabin,
tonight?
too.
Do we
Is
have to
there-
wait till Monday?
No, we're going to try to do that tonight.
Yeah,
it's
let's do that
programmed
now.
for 03, which is what all my trains always are.
Can I run the Shay?
If you put this decoder in it, you can.
Okay, I'll call Daniel.
Yeah. We don't need Daniel. I'm capable of putting a decoder in.
I know, but it's fun to watch Daniel do it. I mean, he gets so,
Yes.
into it. And we miss you, Daniel.
Dave Davis, Joshua, is there anything else we want to talk about on this show?
No, I don't think so. I'm ready to run some trains.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I so am. It was amazing, the interview that we had with Microengineering a couple of weeks back. I would tell you that after talking to the boys, they have streamlined a lot of the processes, and they are also coming up with the fact that all the pre-orders that you guys have ordered and special orders are now getting shipped out, which is going to be really good because that means that we're going to see their number 6 crossovers coming out very soon, and a lot of other amazing products from the wonderful folks now, the family operation that continues to run Microengineering the way it's been for so many years. It's wonderful. So you said we're going to run some trains, right?
Yeah, let's
Yeah, I
do
know
that.
I am.
Should I give this to you or Dave?
No, give it to
That's
me.
the Hammerhead
I
for
want the other
Pro
one.
throttle that we won. This is the one I really like because it's simple. I could just make my train go forwards, backwards, and da-da-da-da-da, which I like to do. But it's amazing the programming on this throttle. On this Hammerhead throttle, programming is so simple with a digital readout as you program sound settings, CVs, and all the other settings that so many people find it difficult to understand. The way this is written out on the screen as you go through it, it's very, very intuitive and easy to use. And that's what I like about everything that Jim Scores comes up with. and
Not to
designs.
mention the add-on accessories, the remote that you can put on here to make these wireless, if they were wireless when you bought them.
They are.
The extras, the different wires that you can plug into the ports. I have them all along my layout, and I really like being able to walk around and put it in different places.
It's the best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it. Sitting just around me, the simple show that we create for you from us, Simple Model Railroaders, showing you what's new in this industry and this wonderful hobby that we all share every single week. Be sure to hit subscribe, click on that bell so you get notifications of when our shows come out, and also look forward to the October What's Neat. Today's the 15th. It should
Yeah.
be out today, where you can accompany
the
us
NMRA, I
with
saw
the
it right before I got here.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's out.
Yay!
it's there. So.
NMRA show. A lot of great interviews in that
Yeah.
show. A lot of new products in that show. The stuff from Woodland Scenics. Just a lot of neat stuff.
And a lot of good friends.
I know they are our friends.
They are something
Dave,
else
thank
right
you for
there.
being here tonight. Thank
Hey,
you very
thanks for
much,
having me up.
Richard, for running camera for us tonight.
Yes.
And so with that, gentlemen, let's go run some trains.
Hey, where's the other control?
What other controller?
over there.
There was one more.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
5 down
It's
here.
over there.
Okay, thumbnail shot.
All right,
sit. You can't get up
sit
yet.
down, sit down. Hold the train.
Hold up an engine. Show me some teeth. Thumbnail shot. I'll hold up the Shay. It's simple.
Okay.
I won't break it because it's mounted right now to its base. I didn't take it up yet. This is awesome to have wonderful new models like this.
No,
This is a
isn't it great?
Rapido engine, by the way.
Rapido.
Yeah, I can't
How
wait
much
to
we
hear
love
this.
Jason Schron.
Yeah. I want to go see his basement someday.
I know,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
ready,
that's
set, go.
something
Show
else.
some teeth and smile.
Hey,
Right?
yes. Oh, this is
Okay.
going to be fun.
That's a
I love
thumbnail.
Doc right up here.
All right, we are going to run some trains tonight.
Yep.
I get to call Holly and tell her to come home. Keep camera 1 rolling as we kill sound and kill camera 2 for rolling credits on this show. The credits are simple. Special thanks to Dave Davis, camera 1 Richard, and Joshua.
Oh my God.
You are so much fun to work with.
Thank you, everyone.